Two, one. Ta-da! Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We are live, ish. We are here, ish. Only one of our feet still hurts. My knees have stopped seizing randomly, and I've just about almost nearly got my voice back from screaming and yelling over the loud music at the stage, which was sort of to my right. At Fanaticon Ottawa 3. We did it, we did it, we did it, and we're back. So give me a second. I have to activate the other screen so that I can trade comments with people. Give me a second here. Oh, woohoo, you're live. Good morning. Good morning, Garen. How wonderful it was to see you yesterday. What an incredible day. Or not yesterday. Was yesterday Monday? Yesterday was so Sunday. Okay, so that's good. Charles, hello, hello, good morning. How wonderful to see you both. How wonderful to see everybody. So I'm only gonna hold on to this light bulb for, I don't know, a couple of days now, because I tried something for the first time at the Fanaticon event, which was held in Ottawa on Sunday, and I had never thought of it before. And so when it occurred to me, I said to myself, well, if that works, that's genius. So I tried it, and you know what? It worked. It not only worked, it was just it was brilliant, standing all on its own, all by itself. It was incredible. So I'm going to turn off the light bulb and talk to you. Oh my goodness gracious sakes alive! So we went to Ottawa, and we set up our little booth beside the stage. And I casually mentioned to Lance Moran, our showrunner, that I wanted to be beside the stage because I'd never actually upstaged a stage before, and I wanted to see if I could pull it off. And he said, ha ha ha, and gave me a hug and walked away. Okay. So here's what happened. We upstaged the stage. Um, I've posted a picture. I'm posting in dribs and drabs pictures of all the wonderful people who came to the the really interesting psychological pivot um, that you create at a tiny trade show booth when you create um, visually interesting sidewalls. So not just pull and drape, and not just open to the next people. Let's all be in this together. Yeah, we are in it together. But there's so much sensory overload at these shows because there's just so many lights and bells and people walking around dressed like the sides of mountains, and you can't take it in. You not only can't take it in, you can't um, absorb it because it, like, you can kind of get it, but then your brain is going what. So you need to give people clear um, boundaries, and cause them to say, okay, look right here. Okay, now you can move on. So that so the brain has time to take its picture of it and walk away and talk amongst itself to say, what the hell was that? And so what I did was I had two banners. I had the locker banner, and then the lockers from the kids show from You Can't Do That. But then on the other side, I had this neon work of magic. It actually is a cloth shower curtain. It didn't look like it. It looked like something magical of the Care Bears. And it wasn't the modernized Care Bears. These were the original look of them, which is softer and much more Disney-esque, really. But all in this beautiful neon so here's the thing. So we have one entire audience genre of You Can't Live on Television, which people tended to watch when they were, anywhere from 8 until maybe 16, and or some now. And then on the other side of the booth, we had the Care Bears, and people tended to watch the Care Bears between the ages of maybe 5 to 8. So what happened was I didn't try to force people to love both. I allowed them to love each one and both if they were so inclined. That wasn't the magic. That wasn't the genius. The second thing I did was I turned the booth lengthwise. Sorry, not the booth, but the table lengthwise. So you have clear dividers, clear boundaries. That's who we are. But then you also have this runway of table. And so that allows you, even in a very small booth, my booth was 6 by 8, didn't look like it. A table is only 1.5 feet deep. You turn that sideways, so it's like this, and you have both sides of the table that people can walk around and look at all the stuff, touch it, hold it up, love it. And then, this was the magic. I said everybody who comes to the booth is automatically famous. If you're famous, you're going to wear a feather boa for your picture. And if you're famous and you're wearing a boa, then I need your autograph. I need your autograph on the banner. Pick a bear. Pick a locker. Just don't sign my face. Don't put your signature on my face. And they loved it. They loved it because, ta-da, fame is contagious. And so the pictures we got this year, I don't know why it took me so long. The pictures we got this year, have I mentioned John Major, photographer, Ottawa? Were varied and unpredictable and fun. And John had them signing and then looking up at him. And I'm behind them, which is a very dangerous thing to do. You should never, never, never let me stand behind you. Nobody's looking. And so we got to have a variety of photographs. It wasn't just mom, dad, buddy, and sis in front of the Eiffel Tower. This was live. It was interactive. And oh, I know Charles. Charles is just saying he wished he could have come. You know what, Charles? We're going to do more shows like this. And I'm going to pull out the stops if I can. I'm going to use these pictures and I'm going to start asking people for testimonials. People who came to the show, I'm going to start saying, I want you to post how it felt to be with me, being famous, at my booth. And I'm going to package that. I'm going to reach out to all the other, event cons that I can in Canada and say, you need me there. You need me there, because this is not somebody from Star Trek. Granted, this is not somebody from Doctor Who. This is Mom, but it's not Mom. And this is a Care Bear, but it's not a Care Bear. It's Mom and Care Bears and Eleanor Tweeg from Teddy Rocks. It's all of that, but more importantly, I'm your guide. I'm your guide to fame. I'm the person who can show you where the doorway is. Not only that, I can open it for you and give you a good shove so that you walk inside. I can share a feather boa with you. We can pose for the paparazzi. And you can have the best time. And the hug was very helpful and comforting. Yes, of course. Well, the hugs are free, right? And people had to look down. The whole idea of making that moment live, and by live I mean you're in it. That picture, you know what's magical about it? You're in it, and you're not standing there with a celebrity. You're the celebrity. We are the celebrities. We're in it together. We're fluffing our hair. You're signing something. You're being magical. It was amazing. And as I say, I don't know why I hadn't thought of it sooner. But oh boy, all I have to do now is think of new things for people to sign and new things for people to do. I have to tell you something else that's really funny. It's really funny to see the comments. So when I posted the picture of the booth, and after the video's over, if you scroll down, you can see it because I'll keep posting it ad nauseum. Every single person I know who does live trade events is commenting, going, well, that's a good idea. And I'm saying, I know, right? I'm not bragging. Because believe me, when I said to myself, I wonder what happens. I think the first time I did it, the first time I did it was at Cape. At Cape in Cornwall in April. I said, I'll bet that's going to make a difference. Because last year at Fanaticon 2 in Ottawa, I put the table at the back of the booth. And then I didn't like it when I first said about it. I thought, no, it's just like a wall thing, and people when they go there, they're going to be looking at stuff with their back to the side camera. So I put it against the banner, so there was a lot of room for people to walk around. And I still thought, no, there's something not working with that. But in Cornwall, I said, I have an idea. Let's see what happens. Let's first of all turn the table this way. Let's put it in the middle of the booth. And then let's step back and see what that looks like. And I stepped back and I thought, oh, perfection. And what's funny, interesting, is that, I'm placed along Celebrity Row. And Celebrity Row, I'm not quite sure. It would be two reasons for Celebrity Row. The first one would be that celebrities are there to sign their autographs on photographs, but they're also there to get their pictures taken with the fans who come and pay for the opportunity. And it doesn't make any sense to me that you have people standing and the celebrities sitting with a barrier between you. I mean, the people who are fans, they want to be close to you, and they want to feel like they're touching you. And okay, COVID, and okay, polite distance, but there has to be a way to make that workable. So anyway, at Cape, when I did that flip, and I thought, oh my goodness. So then immediately to my left, there were 4 celebrity booths, all of them with the table like this, with the celebrity behind it and the fans lined up in front. And then to the right of me, I had the original lockers from the show, but then to the right of the lockers, there was another celebrity, a caricaturist. And he as well was sitting in his chair behind the table with the pictures on it that people would buy, and he would then autograph. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that it's not interactive. The only interaction is the person who's standing now in front of the celebrity, talking to the celebrity. Well, the other spectators, the other fans, the other people attending can't see what's going on. They can't stand there and watch this amazing conversation happen because the fan is blocking. So the fan is here, the celebrity's sitting down here, and there's a table between them. In every way you possibly could, you were making it impossible for all the people who, got off the couch, put on pants, got in the car, drove down, bought a ticket, came inside. You made it impossible for those people who made that effort to feel like they're part of that moment. And it's not deliberate. It's just people think of this as a display case. If they think of it like a shop front, if they think of it like put tables down the driveway so you can walk around and see everything for sale. So I thought, what it is fascinating is that I've created a new concept here. And I don't know what we're going to call it, but it certainly is Abbey World. It certainly is. If you enter Abbey World, you're a citizen of Abbey World. We're all, and Garen just wrote something very interesting. He said, we're all people. If the famous separate themselves, they'll become unrelatable. Okay, Garen, you know what? That's a very interesting point, but I'll tell you something. When I wrote the fame book, when I was talking to Christine McGlade, and I asked everybody that I interviewed what their definition of fame was, Christine was the one who said, fame puts you on a pedestal. And she's right. We, the people who become celebrities, we don't say, darling, I'm taller than all the little people. The little people and the promoters put us up there on the stands to watch what's going on, right? Well, there you are up there. And everybody gets accustomed to seeing you up there. That's why when you watch somebody like Johnny Depp walk out of a bus or walk out of a building, and he's on ground level, the reason they have ropes and they have security is that the fans go ballistic. Why? Because he's right there. And they can't believe it. Because they've only ever seen him way up there. They've never had this moment before. And they totally lose their minds. So the fact that it's Johnny or any celebrity, it's just that I've been watching him most recently because of all the recent kerfuffle. The fact that it's him, sure, that's a legitimate reason for the fans to lose it entirely. But it's bigger than that. It's that it's Johnny Depp, or name your celebrity, right there, same size, mere feet away. And they can't believe that we're in it together. Oh my God, they go crazy. You've seen it. You've seen the screaming. It's because, oh my God, we're the same. That's what happens. And that's what happened in my booth. We're all the same. Well, of course we're all the same. I know that. Garen knows that. We all know that. But here's the other thing that happens. At those events, when the people come to my booth, they're not coming initially, to see me. They're coming to reconnect with their memory of, you can do that on television, those kids, those lockers. They can stand there. They can stand there and see, because the banner that I have of the lockers, there was no room for the real ones. Banner that I have is me holding the middle locker open. They can stand there and look at me doing that and visualize themselves doing that, saying, hey, Dougie, hey, Christine, remembering the locker jokes moment from the show, which they loved. They could plant themselves in there because there's the picture right there. That's part of the reason they come. They weren't expecting that. Well, they wanted to go and touch it. Oh my God, it's Friend Bear. Oh, Wish Bear. Oh, Wish Bear. Oh my God, that was my favorite. And all right, but today we're signing it. You can't come in the booth unless you sign it. Can't have a picture with me unless you sign it. I can sign Wish Bear. I can sign Friend Bear or Love a Lot. Oh my God, Funshine? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Most of the guys said, I want to sign Grumpy Bear. Why, yes you do. Come with me. And they did. And the minute you give them the pen, and I had Greg run around the back and put up because it was just a curtain, put a thing up so they could sign it. And John Major says, look this way. Smile for me, darling. And they turn. And sometimes John was taking a picture, and sometimes Jessie Moore Hamill was taking the picture. Jessie was dressed as Friend Bear for this year. She's there with the camera. Dave is there with the camera. oh my God. And they got their feather boa on. Shazam, kids. Fame in an instant. Just like that. Just add magic. And stir. No shaking. No shaking. Makes me dizzy. So, so the genius of that, the idea that came out of the sky, landed on my head, oof, and I went, oh my God, I wonder if that's going to work. Why, yes, it did, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, humans of all shapes and sizes. It worked with sprinkles. And then the autographs. And then, oh, let's do it right beside the stage. Why? Well, that means that we're the booth with the music. We got lights, we got fame, we got celebrities, we got music, we got autographs, we got feather boas. And then police signed? Oh my God, are you kidding? Why, no, I'm not kidding. Walk this way. We had so much fun. If you have, Greg did awesome. It was a great experience. Not expecting it and loved it. April, it was so funny. So April said, I'm coming to the booth. I can't wait to meet you. And I was walking to take a break, go to the bathroom, and I bumped into her. And she said, well, there you are. And I said, oh my God, I was just away from the booth for a minute. Is that when you came? She said, yes, of course. So here's the thing. Sorry about my hair. Here's the thing about people coming. I don't want to leave the booth. I don't want to go and wander around and do, I don't want to be a spectator, because I'm here working. And I wanted to see as many of you as I could, because really this year, 40th anniversary, it's not that I've been doing the Care Bears and you can't do it on television for 40 years. It is that it has been 40 years since I first invented those Care Bear voices. It has been 40 years since I first appeared on camera doing those Care Bear voices. It has been 40 years since I first seen as mom, as a librarian, and changed everything, changed the dynamic. All of a sudden, Dad had a first name. Dad didn't have a first name in the first year of the show. I named him. I took one look at what Leslie was wearing and I said, well, darling, you remind me of a boy I once dated named Lance. And Les said, well, of course I do. And Valerie was the name I came up with for me. And it was based on a dear friend of mine who was really flighty that I knew in college. And so, and the ditziness, and the gloves, and the apron, and the dress. People coming to the booth saying, that's not the original dress. And I said, sure it is. John Major, my photographer. Have I mentioned John Major, the photographer? John says, that dress, that's 40 years ago. That dress stood up fairly well. And I said, well, John, I didn't actually do any housework in it. It's not like I was cleaning floors. We didn't do mud wrestling. Why wouldn't it hold up? But there it is. And since there was a first time that I did those things, that I was those Care Bears, that I was Mom and the librarian and the other characters that they allowed me to create, it means that you are the ones who have had access to those imaginary people for 40 years. That's why you come to the show looking for me, because those imaginary people mattered to you then. And bless you, they still matter to you today. If that's not an anniversary to celebrate, I don't know what is. I especially this time wanted to help everyone see something in person, live, happening. And that was pivotry in motion. Writing about, and ultimately what I'm producing. I wanted and needed to have you see that I have the ability to flip the status quo, to turn it on its ear, to do things, not same old, to do things differently in a way that make people say, well, that's a good idea. I can do that. How do I know? I just did it on Sunday in Ottawa. And I did it before that in Brockville. I did it before that in Cape. And I've been doing it for my whole career. I have been looking at situations and saying, I wonder what happens when we just go that way a little. If we pivot and cause the utmost damned astonishment. I wonder what happens immediately after that. What's the first next thing that happens? I'll tell you what it is. It's magic. Do you know why? Because we are all distracted. We live in complicated times. We've always lived in complicated times. None of that has changed. When on top of that, the cherry on the icing on the cake of our day is a whole bunch of upsetting stuff, stressful stuff, we forget what it's like to feel the joy, to have the fun, to say, oh my God, I brought a pony. We forget what that feels like. So not only do I know what it feels like, I have the ability to share it with you. I have the ability to say, come here, stand beside me, I want to show you something. I have the ability to show you how to pivot so you can do it. You can do it. And you can show other people how it's done. Because I'll tell you something that's very interesting about fame that nobody realizes. Charles, if you came all the way to the show, I would make sure you got covered in real green slime. How's that? How's that for a bet? We'll have to work on it for next year, somehow. Didn't Greg do an amazing job? Oh my God. Greg is one of my super fans who came to all the original SlimeCons, who came to all the first celebrations of You Can't Do That on Television, who came to my Fame book launch, who has then found a way to come to turn his life upside down and come to every other really busy. And you know what he does? He says, I'm going to need a couple of days. And then he takes 3 airplanes and then rents a car. And if the car runs out of gas, he rents a camel. And then he books a hotel so he can come and hang out with me. That is Greg. That's what Greg does. And what did he do? What does he do? Well, one of his big jobs is to lint roller everybody after they've had feather boas on, because feather boas have attachment issues. They don't want to let go. They don't want to say goodbye. And he was also providing the backstop for people autographing my banners. He was all over the place. It's amazing. And what is magical about this is another thing that happened. It's really funny. So John Major, who I have known for most of my career, has photographed everybody. Everybody. He's been to everything. What the hell is this? Because I said, oh, this? Oh, this? This is me upstaging. He said, They're three deep. He said, I know. When he finally ran off to go to the bathroom and grab a slice of pizza on the way back, he was running on the way back. He didn't want to miss anything. He lives out of town. And he was at the event when I got there at 8:30 in the morning. And he didn't finish uploading, downloading, whatever it is, sending me 11,000 pictures until 8:30 at night, and he still had to drive all the way back out into the country to go home. He put in a 15-hour day. And when we were sending message to each other yesterday, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "You know what? I'm exhausted, but I didn't notice because I was too busy having fun." He said, "That was the most crazy, wonderful," he said, "best time ever, best time ever." And I thought, okay, I need that testimonial on a wall somewhere. I really do. Okay, there it is. Did you just see me pause there? I know what I'm doing for next. Okay, and I'm gonna be annoying about it. I'm gonna be really annoying. We are going to have to set up a situation, set up a way for you to give me testimonials, okay? And I'm going to print a new banner. So that'll be Care Bears, you can't do that, the Abbey Wall, and another banner, don't know where I'm going to put it, with all of your testimonials. And you're going to come back and you're going to sign your testimonials. Ta-da! It's the fan wall. There we go. The fan wall at FanaticCon. How's that? I just thought of it right now. Do I have to write it down? Fan wall. Don't even need to look. I know how to spell it. Okay. I'm just gonna do a couple of clicky clicks. Although you know that I'm reading your stuff, and the fact that I'm not commenting doesn't mean that I'm not reading the stuff. Okay, so I have to tell you a story. My voice, I sound like a 12-year-old kid whose voice is changing. It's not laryngitis, it's screaming over the music. Craziness. Okay, so I want to tell you this story, two stories actually. The first one is, if you're on Facebook and you're watching me, well, of course you're on Facebook watching me now, but for those of you later, on YouTube or Instagram or wherever you happen to watch it, on Twitter or LinkedIn, you're going to have to try to come to Facebook because you need to see the picture, because I can't post it over there. Quite a few years ago, I was doing I was working anonymously at a writing agency, and I gained a client who said, "I need you to meet my brother-in-law. He's an ideal candidate for a client for you." So he did the introduction, and he was right. It was an amazing opportunity. We got a great chance to work together. And even better than the client experience itself was my experience with that client's executive assistant. Angelico is incredible. And we got to be such good friends on the phone, chit-chatting back and forth, lining up meetings, lining up things to do, getting the paperwork back and forth to each other. It was just incredible. And I was talking about, to him, to the client, and to everyone, that the fame phenomenon is the same experience if you can close your eyes and visualize what happens if you have a stone. Let's say a stone the size of that fits in the palm of your hand. So that would be, I don't know, however big that is. You just cup your hand, Abby, and a stone. And you walk over to a small pond, a wading pool, a small pond. And you just turn your hand upside down and drop the stone. And it goes sploosh, and droplets come up. And while the droplets are coming up, the impact of the stone creates ripples, right? A circle of ripples around the stone. And they ripple out to the edges of the pond and ripple back. And they keep doing that until the energy that creates dissipates. At the same time, those water droplets that come up, they land and they create their own little ripple effects. And the ripples are circular. And so they ripple out, and they ripple out, and they ripple back, and they ripple out, and they ripple back. And then the little ones ripple out. And it creates this movement. It energizes the water. And the ripples, if there's anything sitting on the surface of the water, if there's anyone swimming in the water, little teeny weeny people in a pond, in the ocean, the ripples, boats sitting on top, the ripples have an impact on every single thing the ripples touch. Right? This is not something you may have spent the time thinking about, but you can ripple, splash, 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 droplet, splash, splash, ripple, 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 all this stuff going on. That, my lovelies, is fame. The reason they say it lasts 15 minutes, it's a metaphor for eventually the energy dissipates unless you do something new. If you just keep showing up being the same, doing the same, that's impressive. And people will come back because they remember what that ripple felt like. They can remember that moment the first time, and they come back to re-experience that memory. One of my other lovely kids who I interviewed for Fame said, fame is the echo of the parade that has gone by. People come to a concert because of the way the last concert made them feel. They come to this one to relive that ripple effect. What they take away with them is now a combination of that ripple effect and this one. Now they have a blended ripple memory of their connection to that. To the moment they're going to experience now. Oh my God, did you see? They flew her onto the stage. Okay, they won't be flying me onto a stage. That's the next story I'm going to tell you. Flying one time is good. Good. We're done. We're done with flying onto a stage. So people come to experience that. Why? Because when they first experienced it, it was more fun than anything, and it was free. The sensation of the ripple was free. The ticket, okay, you had to buy a ticket to get in. You had to get up off the couch and put your pants on and go down to the concert to get in. But once you made that effort, the impact, the ripple effect, the connection, the chemistry, the energy, it's all you, baby. It's all you. That is fame. And it is complete. In the hallway at Fanaticon, her experience of fame, totally her. We shared that moment. We shared the next moments. Awesome, awesome. Her experience, she said she had the best time. Garen said he had the best time. Other people saying, oh my God, this is the best time. I had one woman who was crying. We gave her a Kleenex. Greg gave her a Kleenex. She said, I'm going to keep this Kleenex forever. Okay, so no, sure. You do you, darling. That is fame. Angelo, if you look at the picture, created a missing persons, you know those things that were on milk cartons? Have you seen this child? Have you seen this person? He did one for my stiletto shoe. The missing stiletto glass slipper. You have to look at it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And the most magical thing about it is this. He said to himself, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give Abby an unexpected fame moment. I'm going to surprise her. I'm going to cause her the utmost damned astonishment. And he did that. He took that time. He put that together. And then he didn't tell me. He posted it and he tagged my name. Now, do you know what that makes Angelo? It makes Angelo standing on the inside of fame with me. We became colleagues. We were working the show together from the same side. That's what happened to Greg. That's what happened to Greg when he came to the first event. I said to him, the minute we walk through that door, it's not going to be the same. Remember what I said. Remember that I just said that. And he said, well, we're going to be on the inside, Abby. I said, okay, smarty. Okay, wise guy. We'll discuss this later. And we went inside, through the door, closed the door, slam, and began the setup for the show. And then all the people came. And all the madness ensued. And it was incredible. It was wonderful. It was hysterical. And at the end of the day, when everybody went, and they were gone, and we did the cleanup, he came over to me and he said, I get it now. And I said, fame is never going to be the same. He said, no, it isn't. Because you brought me through the keyhole. I'm on the inside. And I said, yes, you are. Yes, you are. So is he still a fan of those shows? Of course he is. We never stop being fans of our favorite things. What is amazing, what is magical, is that he was having a different experience of it because he could see it from a different perspective. When we got together for that event the night before, I didn't tell anybody. Half a dozen guys had come up from the States. Greg was one of them. And I didn't tell them, but I'd asked Christine and Carol to join us at the little restaurant where we were having dinner. So we're all sitting there, we're having drinks, we're having dinner, and the next thing these guys know, Christine McGlade, Moose, walks in, says, hey guys, is there a seat for me? And they all kind of went into suspended animation for a second. Carol walks in and says, oh, you found them, good. And they're all going, up. And so then we all made room, and Carol sat down, and Christine sat down, and we had a great evening. You know what happened the next day to those 6 guys? When we all got to the event, because they came a day early because they wanted to help me be part of my crew and set up, they were on the inside with me. They were all going, I can't believe this. And when they walked in and we're setting stuff up, they're helping Jim bring in the individual locker doors. They're helping assemble this iconic memory, right? Christine walks in. They're looking up saying, oh, hey, Christine. They're not saying, oh, my God, there she is. Why not? Because we'd all had dinner together the night before. We'd all hung out. And it wasn't, gosh, it's an honor to meet you. It was, can you pass the salt? Y'all have another beer, too. It was normal. As Garen says, we're all just people. Fame is awesome. Fame is magical. Fame is feather boas and autographs and the paparazzi. And feeling like we're 6 years old again and they're not only a clown with balloons, but there's a pony. That's what it feels like. If you maintain the right attitude. That's what it feels like. It's magic. And we all need a little magic in our lives. And that's my job, everybody. I'm the one bringing the magic. Ping. With my Viking brick. Here's some magic. Boof. Oops, steady there. Okay, so now I want to tell you this other story that I posted the picture of. Oh my God. I couldn't believe when I found that picture today. Ninth grade. Write a speech. I don't want to write a speech. I stalled for as long as I could. It was a class of 30 kids. So, and she had time in class once the speeches were written. The teacher had time in class for, I don't know, 5 or 10 kids to do their speech in front of the class, get graded. Probably not 10 kids, probably 5. So it took weeks and weeks and weeks. And I waited and waited and stalled as best I can, and I invented stalling. And so finally she said, okay, we need your speech. Fine. So I did my speech, and everybody laughed really hard. And then the next week she said, well, I have some news. I didn't want to say anything until it was all over. But the best speech is going to be performed at the school assembly next week in front of the entire school audience. So that's 2,000 kids. 2,000 kids. And the teachers. In an auditorium, on a stage. And she said, and I'm sure you're all excited to find out who we have selected from our class. Who you have all selected. What do you mean all? So, I know, so, no, I can't, no. Well, you have to, because your name is already in. Okay. So I go, and I'm terrified. And I have subsequently learned how to learn lines, but I didn't know how to learn lines then. I didn't know how to talk to crowds. I just wanted to, I'll just come in, do my thing, and leave. I was shy. I didn't know what to do. I was mortified. I was mortified if anybody looked at me. So that changed in the 10th grade. I'm not sure why. So I wrote the whole speech on little 3x5 cards. Right? It's all there. So 2 things that nobody told me. One is that if you hold 3x5 cards in damp, sweaty hands, all the ink smudges. And at gunpoint, you can't read what you wrote there. So somebody should have typed it. Yes, they should. But so I get there, and I'm 9th grade. So they started in the top classes. Ding, 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 ding. So I was the last one to speak, and nothing like waiting in the wings to make a nervous, shy person lose their mind. And so I'm there, and I have the 3x5 cards look still like 3x5 cards, but really they are a sodden lump of fear and loathing in Las Vegas. I created fear and loathing in Las Vegas, okay? It was me. That's my title. So it's my turn. They've all done it. I'm saying, maybe we've run out of time. No. And I don't know how long this speech was. It was probably a minute, maybe 2 minutes at the outside. I don't know. It just felt like a long day's journey into night, really. So I'm waiting there, and it was, the old school auditoriums. I don't know if they still do this, but the stage is raised, it's wood, and they have these wooden steps coming up, and there's curtains that hide the stairs, right, the wings, right? And so you're there, and so you come up the steps, and you walk across the stage, and there's a podium. There's a podium in the middle. And that's not where you give the speech. No, because the teacher, who is the host of the speech, is standing at the podium. That's his spot. You don't get that spot. You have to stand there, naked and afraid. That's my other title that somebody stole. So, fear, loathing, naked, and afraid. Except for the 3x5 cards and whatever awful thing I was wearing. So it's my turn. And what they do is they announce your name, and you go up the steps. You go and stand. There's a light specially, and you stand there, and you give your speech, and then you bow and curtsy, and they applaud, and you leave the stage. And that's what the others did. This was not intentional. This was not me cleverly pivoting on purpose to do something. There was no intention here. My intention was to get it over with and leave and change my name and move to a distant galaxy far, far away. Also my title. I'm at the bottom of the stairs. The teacher says, and last but least, or last and least, or whatever it was, got that wrong, said my name wrong. He got my first name wrong. And he sort of went, oh. And then he got my last name wrong and laughed again. And then you know what he said? Never mind. Come up anyway. Never mind. Come up anyway. Don't quit your day job, sir. So I was horrified, mortified, wanting to die, and this close to throwing up. So I ran up the steps. Go, 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 go. Ran up the steps. Caught the tip of my shoe on the lip of the top step and catapulted myself through the air. The character arc, born, die. So character arc, me sailing through the air like this, horrified. Eyes, I'm sure. Mouth, I'm sure. Arms outstretched, holding the 3x5 cards. And I landed on the stage. Woo! Like a dead oak. And I knocked the air out of me. Really? So it was a combination of, you know, a stage is made of wood. Well, there's nothing underneath it, right? So it's hollow. So if you drop something on it, it makes a very loud noise. It makes a really loud, echoey woof. And that's the sound I made. And she's delicate and lovely. And clearly has all the style and grace of an anvil. The end needs work, dear. So I through the air. And when I knocked the air out of me, I couldn't move. And I'm a starfish, really, on the beach, making that noise that people make when the air is knocked out of them. I lay there going, for about a year. And then gradually I was okay. I guess I finally caught some air. And so I pushed myself up on my aching palms of hands, stage, pushed myself up on my palms of my hands and my knees, because they're fine, groaning. I turned to look, so now I'm doing a horse. I turned to look at the audience, and there's a lot of them standing looking, because when I wrote the post this today, I said, because I showed the picture, not of the fall, but me, what I looked like then. I said I had my first standing ovation. 2,000 people on their feet, not because they loved me. They were trying to see if I was dead. So I get up and I turn to them, and they all were relieved. And I guess the look on my face made them laugh. And then I said the title of my speech. So here's the thing, here's the serendipity, here's the kind of thing that you couldn't invent, you couldn't write. My speech was about on being in grade 9 and being completely useless and hopeless and confused and lost and getting everything wrong all the time. Can you believe that? So my opening act proved it. I didn't mean to it. I didn't mean to do it. No person in their right mind would mean to do something that insanely painful. I didn't mean it, but I did it. Whammo! And groaning, get to my feet. On being in grade 9. And they lost it. They lost it. Howling with laughter. Best opening shtick they had ever seen. Maybe to this day. I am sure. If somebody says, that was you? Yes. Well, no wonder you went into comedy. So, and then I talked about it. I talked about all the things that you do wrong when you're in the 9th grade and you have no idea where your locker is, much like I have no idea where my house is. And you get everything wrong and you're always late. When the bell goes off, you jump 6 feet in the air and go in the wrong direction. And you forget your homework. And, you know, the history class that has the final exam and the big question on the test is discuss the major events of the Third Peloponnesian War, and you have no idea. And so what I did was I wrote a short story about a clumsy gray squirrel named Charlie. And the history teacher said, I'm going to pass you. It'll cost you. That's what it said on my test when I got it back. And at the end of the class, what he said, okay, so at the end of the class, I'm going to have the person who got the highest score read their test answer on the important question. So whoever it was got up and read this flawless answer to the major events of the Third Peloponnesian War, and he sat down, and I'm waiting for the bell to ring, and he said, I left some time because now Abby is going to read her answer, her Plan B answer to the major events of the Third Peloponnesian War. And I had to stand up and say, and they read the top and the time. He said, no, read the beginning. And I said, dear sir, I can't for the life of me remember anything about the Peloponnesians or that they were at war. And so the major events escape me. So I've written you a short story about a gray squirrel named Charlie. And I brought down the house. The class is laughing. And that was the deal. I had to read it out loud, and he passed me. So, like, that was my 9th year. That was my 9th grade year. Every single thing I did was an absolute, unmitigated train wreck, except for one thing. It all, in hindsight, looked like I meant to do that. Did I score well on being in grade 9 speech? I did, actually. Because I have to tell you, the other thing that happened when I was finished, and huge applause, great laughter. And I said, thanks very much. And I'm standing there, and the teacher says, you can get off the stage now. And I said, okay. And I turned to walk, and my knees had locked, and I'm going, oh. And I am humbling and bumbling and stumbling and moaning and groaning all the way to the stairs. And I couldn't make it down the stairs by myself, and somebody had to come up and take me by the hand and drag me down. So, like, even when I was leaving, even my exit was an unmitigated disaster. I got to the bottom and I wanted to die. And all the other serious speechifiers who were standing there, they're saying, well, that was very funny. I said, thanks. And, do you want to sit down? Yes. And no one, not a single person, except my parents and my best friend who was in the audience, who had seen my fear and had heard the speech. And my parents weren't at the show, so it was only my best friend. My best friend in the audience was the only one who knew that every lunatic, disastrous second of that event, that moment, was visited upon me by the Viking gods, who have a really interesting sense of humor. And she came up to me later and she said, I don't know. And I'm saying, yeah, shut up. And so, does that mean, in my telling you that story, does that mean that inviting you to be famous with me is fraught with all kinds of interesting surprises? Well, of course it does. I'm the one who can't make it through doorways and up flights of stairs or walk across stages. When I was a professional model and I'm standing there, they asked me to walk forward. I walked forward to talk to the man with the microphone who said, you know, and can you tell us the names of all the presidents of the United States, please? whatever the question was, and I answered it. when he had done this with the microphone, it was on a cord, he'd done this, he'd accidentally looped the cord around my foot. Or when he was doing it, I lifted my foot or something. I was shifting. So I turned to walk away. Yeah, I was hogtied. I took one step. Boom! You know what is truly remarkable? Well, two things. Truly remarkable two things. One is that I'm still here. And the other is that people keep inviting me back. If they're inviting me and I'm still here, I might as well go. What else was I doing? So the upshot of today's video, everyone, is this. The event in Ottawa called Fanaticon 3 created, invented, and magicked into being by Lawrence Moran. If you want to find him on Facebook and friend him up, he's just this amazing guy. Lance is his nickname. His name on Facebook is Lawrence Moran, M-O-R-I-N. He's amazing. He sells cars. He's just incredible. He cares. He's focused. He's attention to detail. Great crazy sense of humor, an amazing team he's put together, and it's all driven by pure love, and wonderful. If he'll have me back next year, he says to me, I don't know what you do. I don't know how you pull these rabbits out of hats. And I said, yeah, because you can't even see the hats. If he's willing to have me back, I'm back. If other places are fascinated by what I pulled off and they invite me, I'll be there if I can, if I'm allowed. If you want to be part of that experience and you saw firsthand what happened, or you're enjoying these videos, we're going to get you to write some testimonials, and I'm going to print them on a banner. And with your permission, use your picture from Facebook. And so we will have this amazing Rogues Gallery banner of names and faces and testimonials that you will then come and sign. Okay? That's my evil plan for next year. I was going to say don't tell anybody, but I want you to tell everybody, because why not? I think that will just blow everything right out of the water. And I might have another little trick up my sleeve. So that was the purpose for today, for you to see that I in fact survived, that I still have most of my voice in action. I wouldn't do a very good Level Up Bear today because my throat is scratchy, but I would probably knock Eleanor Tweig out of the park, except that she's so hard on my throat, I might not have a voice at all after that. Anyway, no show is a show without you. You are the reason. You are not spectators. Life is not a spectator sport. And now that so many of you are watching these videos, and so many of you came to this show, and the one in April and the one in May, you know that what happens on the video happens live. You know that when I say, I'm a pivot master, want to see it in action? And when I say I need your story to put your story into the Pivotry in Motion book collection, it's because you have told me of a time in your life when you performed a pivot so that you could move forward. And I honor that and respect that. Today and yesterday, and with all these videos, this is video number 75, kids. All of this is designed to give you permission to believe that when I say I'm going to create something magical with StoryMe TV, I mean it. And it's designed to give you permission to say, and she'll do it too, I've seen what else she can do. All of this, these 75 videos, my daily posts on social media, My appearances at live shows, you know what they are? They're my audition. I am auditioning for you so that you join me in my boat, so that together we can navigate our way over, under, around, and through the ripples of fame together. Pretty cool, huh? Viking strategy. Magic. So, I'll be back on Thursday with more stuff. And in the meantime, you know the drill. You must be good to you, darling. You deserve it. We are in this together. No spectators. And while you're being good to you, hug your loved ones. All right? And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me. You're magical.